Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. It's been such a long time. This is our special Super Bowl edition. That game was fantastic. So we have a lot to break down, from the game to the halftime show to Odell. You know we're going to get into all of that. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And now, back by popular demand, here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Jackie Ray. You can find me on all ththings social media at Jackie Ray TV. Chris!
Hey, it's your boy Chris. Yes, it's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. What's up?
I'm so happy to see you. Welcome back. I feel like
You
a
too.
welcome, right? Y'all, we did do a filler, though, on my YouTube page, Jackie Ray TV. So if y'all might want to go check that out, because we did do a Fumble Squad filler for you. So go check that out. We also have some very special guests today. I'm excited to have them join us as well. So we have former Bengals linebacker Emmanuel Lemur, as well as actor Tracy Dukes. What's up? How y'all
Was
doing?
good. Was good.
How y'all feeling? Emmanuel, I feel like you're the only one who really had a dog in yesterday's race. The rest of us just simply did not. But we enjoyed it. What was your first overall thought about the game as you were watching it,
Well,
Emmanuel?
first and foremost, it was a great game. Everybody turned out to be safe. Not much injuries, so that's really a good thing seen from a player perspective. So the only thing that sucked is seeing Odell going down, but hope everything's okay. But other than that, the game turned out to be great.
Yep. Tracy, what were your thoughts?
Absolutely. I thought it was an incredible game. I was a little nervous going into it because we had so many exciting playoff games and practically wins by field goals. I just wanted it to I wanted the energy to remain the same, but it definitely surpassed my expectations because it was a great game.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
Chris, I know you and I talked about this. You and I were both at events. So, were you able to watch a lot of the game, or were you just kind of partying a little bit?
No, I was in it. I was watching. I was paying attention. I was. Look, Jackie, I can multitask. I was able to do a little bit of both. I was enjoying the show. And I was also watching the game. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
As the only female on the panel, a man saying he can multitask, I'm gonna let you have that, and we're just gonna continue on. We're gonna continue on with the Super Bowl. I'm gonna believe it if you say it, because obviously there was a narrative was going to come out of this either way. Obviously, Odell having the first touchdown of the game was a big deal. We saw his impact. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But obviously, the Matthew Stafford and the Joe Burrow situation was a big narrative as well. So which one is the bigger deal? The fact that Joe Burrow got his team within 2 years to the big show, or Matthew Stafford taking as long as he did to actually get there and win it? Chris, which one do you think is a bigger deal?
Oh man, that is a great question. You know what? I'm gonna give some love to Joe. I like the fact that you can do that within 2 years, especially we forget, the injury he had just last year. You know what I mean? Missing the remainder of that season after he had a great start out of the gates. And then we're seeing a rookie wide receiver in Jamar Chase looking like a great within his first year. So, yeah, it's unfortunate they didn't win the game. And I got a lot of respect for not even just Stafford, a lot of the guys that came together on that team on the Rams that were able to get that over there. But to me, in 2 years to do something like that on a team like that has not had the amount of wins that they had in the playoffs in general, forget the Super Bowl, like that's impressive, man. So yeah, I don't think this will be the last time we see him. But yeah, I gotta give a lot of props to Joe and the Bengals.
I agree. The Rams ended up having 0 run game, so the Bengals did a good job of shutting that down. And as soon as Odell went out, there was a problem, and we saw that. But I want to kind of shift to the end of the game, because that last possession, the Bengals, they ran it on 3rd and 1 and then passed it on 4th and 1. So, Tracy, my question for you is, did the Bengals really lose this game, or did they just mismanage it?
I think there was definitely some mismanagement. They played aggressive. I love the way they played. I felt like for who Aaron Donald is, they did a pretty good job at trying to contain him. I don't feel like he got really turned up until the end of the game. That 2nd and 1 where they had that out of bounds throw trying to get it to Jamar Chase, I think that was a wasted play. So that definitely opened the house of mismanagement. So yes, they mismanaged the end of that game. Some serious, sad to see.
Now, Emmanuel, like I said, you're the only one that had a dog in this race, and your dog got away with a blatant PI and a face mask. So technically, this game should have been as close as it was, but the refs didn't really call a lot until the end. So do you think this is just a solid win, or do you think the refs kind of getting flag happy at the end kind of played a part in the outcome?
See, there's two different perspectives. So you have a player's perspective and you have the audience perspective. Coming into the game, listen, you have to let the players play, right? You know, sometimes they're going to be pulling tugs and jersey pulling and people holding and grabbing face masks. That's part of the game. But overall, it was a great game. I mean, I was a little biased. I was going for the Bengals, of course. But, man, I was a little salty. But, again, when we're talking about that last drive with Aaron Donald, listen, big time players, they show up with big time, lights is on when things is on the line, that's when they show out. And Aaron Donald proved that. And in my eyes, he's arguably the best defensive player to ever play the game,
Absolutely.
outside of Lawrence Taylor. But other than that, I mean, it was a great game. I think it was a great call with the Bengals. I don't think it was bad coaching at all. Again, things happen. That's just part of the game. But like I said, Ramsey ended up turning around and it went with big 99. So
Man,
it was a beast, man. He's just a beast. That's all I can say. He's just a beast with it. So you got to respect his game.
Yeah, and then Tracy, I saw that you had an opinion on all those flags that came flying at the end of the game. I saw your whole face. So, what did you think about that?
I was a little disappointed. Like I'm a fan of the consistency of it. Like obviously you don't want the game to end on a call, a bad call, good call, whatever. They had let them play. Boyd or Higgins got away with that face mask on Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey also got away with the holding in the end zone when they almost scored. I didn't like that penalty on the linebacker from the Bengals. I don't think it was holding. I felt it was very ticky-tacky, and for it to be at that point in the game, you have been letting them play the whole game, that kind of changed the narrative for me. I hated to see it go down to that. So yeah, I didn't like the calls.
I mean, I don't have a dog in this race. Chris and I are Saints fans, but I'm a huge Aaron Donald fan. Von Miller is my guy. Odell, this was all a very nostalgic moment for me, as well as the halftime show, which we're going to get into in the post-up. So I'm going to let Chris take it away right now. So Chris, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time since I've been able to say this. But ladies and gentlemen, time for post-up.
There it is.
There it is. It's your boy Chris. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this one. I'm excited. You know how me and Jackie feel about a lot of these post-ups. Now we got some, extra opinions, and I'm ready for it because we got to start off with none other than LeBron James. I know it's the Super Bowl, and we're talking about LeBron James. You can't get away from LeBron James, but LeBron James was being pointed at the entire game. I'm here watching the Super Bowl game, but on my timeline, I'm seeing different, memes and LeBron James dancing and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. So we know the halftime show. Everybody was expecting and excited about the halftime show being in LA. You got the cast of people that they had. Everyone was hyped up. It was dope. We had some appearances that we weren't ready for in Anderson .Paak and 50 Cent, and it was dope. So LeBron James was having a great time. He was dancing, and he went so far to put up this tweet right here that had some people feeling a type of way, but he put up this tweet. If I can get that thing up.
Chris, I don't think we have assets, so we got to just keep going, I think.
All right, that's fine, because I can read it for you guys, and you just have to believe that this is the word for word what Mr. LeBron James said. LeBron James tweeted out saying, OMG! Exclamation, a bunch of exclamation points. Wow, wow, wow. The greatest halftime show I've ever seen. And people, some people were agreeing with it. A lot of people were hyped up. I know, being that we are in California, a lot of the people I was watching the game with, this is, and that my generation, this was their playlists when they were listening. So everyone was probably feeling the same way over here. But then there was a lot of people that had a difference of opinion. With that not coming up, does that mean we don't get to see the video of LeBron James getting down? We don't have that. We don't get to see LeBron. I'm not going to reenact that for you guys, but LeBron James was getting down. He was rapping back to 50 Cent in the club. But we don't have it. Okay, cool. It's all good because the Twitter responses are what I want to really get to in the first place. We had this dude. His name is Ed Shields, just a regular Twitter warrior, no big deal. 11 whole likes, so he was a big deal. But he was upset, and you knew people were going to be upset when LeBron James had something to say in the Super Bowl. He said, perhaps to you, King James, certainly it may be to some, but far from the greatest for others. For this Super Bowl, there are Bengals fans and Rams fans. There are fans of the halftime show, there are fans of many other halftime shows. It all
There he
comes
is.
down to personal preference. And there you go. That's fine. Yeah, look at him go. Like, he's having a good time. Listen, Van over there, she's a little bit more, under control, but she's having a good time too. It's hype. But you can also see what LeBron's holding with that left hand, so you know why he's having a good time. So I am not mad at him. Go ahead, LeBron. I'll be doing the same thing. Money or no money. Yeah, right. You got that low. Yes. So Ed Shields had an opinion on that. Then we go on to another opinion coming from CH3. Again, Twitter warrior, not many likes, but he just, want to taking a chance to shoot at LeBron. He said, old artists, here it is, old artists playing their ancient hits, overblown, Fapapalooza. I can't believe I said that my first try. I would have preferred to see someone current. Travis Scott would have killed it. Too soon, man. I don't know if he was going for the meme. I don't know if he was going for the meme or not. But Lord have mercy, if he was, that might have been an A1 tweet right there. And last but not least, this was my favorite one because I love the clapback that happened within the response to LeBron James. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it'll make sense right here. This one coming up right there. Gary, he said, because LeBron says the best halftime show ever. Gary said, apparently you haven't seen a lot of halftime shows. And then Blank Check Billy said, Gary, none of us are surprised that you didn't like it. If you see, who the picture was, because the main meme was a lot of the older generation white folks were not a fan of yesterday's halftime show. So yeah, a lot of people were not surprised that Gary and Ed were not fans of the show. But I bring it to you guys. I'm curious because I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great time. It was dope. It just felt like nostalgia. And then my man, Anderson .Paak didn't even have to say a word. He was there playing. It was just a dope time altogether. So where do you guys put this on your list of halftime shows? Are you with LeBron? You think it's close? How you guys feeling? Trace, you want to start it off, bro?
It's top. It's in the top for me. Top 3 to 5, I would say.
Okay.
I seen Michael Jackson pop up on both sides and hold our attention for 10 minutes apiece on each side. That was the greatest for me. Beyonce's performance definitely is second in my opinion. And then this would, between this and The Weeknd, I'm a really huge Weeknd fan. Don't judge me, but The Weeknd last year was incredible, I thought, as well too. But this was really good. I did want it to be a little bit longer, but that was just me in the moment of nostalgia,
Right.
enjoying the show. But I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, May, what you thinking, bro?
No, definitely top 5. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was live to me.
Right,
the
man.
whole trans with Mary J. Blige, she came with it though, man. I gotta give her some credit for that. People
Yeah, I
don't
was hyped
understand
about
what
Mary.
choreography. Yeah, it's not just performing and singing. We talking about everybody being on the same tempo. You know what I mean? On one accord. It's not easy, but I salute to them. Everybody did good to me. It was live though. I was having a good time. Felt like we was
All right,
out in the club.
yeah, and Kendrick's probably looking like a music video live. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy.
Bye.
So, Jackie, I saved you for last, and I know you are the critic because you saw her. I don't know if you saw Tracy, but the face she gave you when you said that you liked The Weeknd's performance, she's a critic over here. All right, I need to know, how did you feel about this halftime show?
Me. So I'm warming up because The Weeknd can't sing, so he shouldn't be on anybody's.
Oh, see,
He entertained though.
He looked like he was having health issues up there. He was not entertaining to me. But let me move on to the actual halftime show. Whew, I had to get that one out. I've been holding it. But this actual halftime show, I thought it was super dope. Especially, I'm not from LA, but being here for as long as I have, half my life, just seeing the whole set pay homage to Compton and LA. I thought it was super dope. The big girl cheerleaders kind of representing. I thought that was dope, the diversity. I saw something that said that they didn't want Snoop to look like a gang member. He came out in that all blue, and then you had the gang members in the khakis dancing. I'm like, well, there went that. I thought the whole thing was super dope. All time, I think Prince playing in the rain was number 1 for me, because I just love Prince. I'm going to put this one a solid number 2, and then Beyonce 3rd. So I loved it though. But don't ever, yes, I said it. But you notice The Weeknd wasn't nowhere in there because I got good taste.
I respect it. And you know what? And I'd like to admit that the Prince has to be up there. I apologize. But Beyonce 3rd?
Well, and the reason I have to put her third because it's got to go in order. I would put it as a tie for number 2, but you
Okay.
can't have Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Eminem all on the same stage and just appeal to 2 different generations. Millennials and Gen X was losing their mind on Twitter. So I just thought they killed it. They just killed it.
Yep. And like I said, with Kendrick. Go ahead, bro. What were you saying?
No,
I thought you were saying some Trace. My fault. Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off. I
was like, am I frozen?
I was like, oh no, my bad. But to Emmanuel's point though, yes, Mary J. Blige killed it, but unfortunately, she became a meme. You knew it was gonna happen. You were waiting to see who was going to be the meme. I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, maybe that might be the moment. No, that might not be it. We saw the Snoop Dogg moment. All right, that's definitely gonna be a meme. But Mary J, I absolutely murder her performance. She was great, and you can tell that it took way too much out on her because after that last note, we saw her plop back, and it turned into a whole entire meme. Because she went back, and then my man Political Scientist said, "Why Mary J. Blige fall like the toys from Toy Story when Andy gets back?" I'm like, yo, y'all so disrespectful, bro. Y'all gonna leave MJB, man? She killed it, man. Man, savage on Twitter, bro. And then we also had this one right here.
That's
didn't get any better. Yeah. Wow. Kalia said nobody, Mary J. Blige at the end of her performance, and she just went back. Right. I'm just talking about like, yo, let her live, man. Let her live. She was exhausted. Did you hear that last note?
She was exhausted. We could tell by she.
Golly, man, y'all can't let her live. Can't let her live. But I thought the coolest thing, because I always said this. If maybe I don't, if you agree, because you played in the league. But I always said if I was blessed with the talents of like my man Manuel or anybody else in the NFL and got to the Super Bowl, I said I would be the one. Like I don't care if we was down 30 or if we were side up or we was winning. If I'm in the Super Bowl for my first time, you're gonna catch me on the bench watching the show. Like you can tell me give me the spark notes of what we talking about at halftime. I'm sitting down watching the show, and we saw rookie kicker Evan McPherson doing just that. My man they were in a good spot. I mean, they're down 3, and he said, the coach let me know I'm the kicker. I just know I got to kick and do my job, so I'm sure I'm not missing anything back there. And he sat down and he watched the entire show. He did not miss the halftime show, and I had no problems with it. I was like, yes, I'd be doing the same exact thing, bro. Especially as a kicker, you know your job. Make the kicks. So there ain't no game plan for me back there. Right. So I had no problems with that. But is there problems here? Say what?
He said he was going to do it before the game. He said he was going to do it. He was like, I ain't missing this halftime show. I was like, well, you go ahead.
And I know that was an experience for him because, again, when you're talking about halftime, players are never having the chance to at least see what's going on. So him actually seeing that in live action, that's crazy. Crazy. I know he enjoyed it though, because that was a life for real.
Yeah, man.
And if anybody did deserve to watch the halftime show, it would be Evan McPherson, who was 14 for 14 up to that point. Like it's like I could sit back and chill and enjoy the halftime show. Yeah. So he earned it.
Emmanuel, I have a question though, because I've always wondered this. Because you can hear the music faintly in the locker room, right? Like you can hear it a little bit.
Not as much, to be honest.
Really? You can't hear it at all?
Yeah, it's just like echoes. Yeah, it's just echoes because once you're tuned in, because coaches and players were all going over, and reflecting on the plays that we could work on and what we need to do, just regrouping. You know what I mean? But other than that, we're not really, tapped in on what's going on at halftime. Honestly, our mind won't even go there. When the adrenaline is rushing, when you're trying to stay focused and things like that, we're just blocking out the noise. It's something that we say, ignore the noise, ignore the noise. So players are really good at that, ignoring the noise for sure.
I believe that. Man.
Well,
shout out to my man Evan McPherson, because that would have been me for sure. I might have got cut the following day, but I for sure would have been the one watching the halftime show for sure.
You might have got cut the following day. Made me think about old boy who got the Bengals that penalty for celebrating a touchdown and he wasn't even suited. It was like, bro.
Too damn. Yeah, I saw that.
He was in the middle of the end zone, like in full celebration mode.
Flip flops,
he was in inactive. He didn't have anything else to do. He's like, I'm just gonna go get on camera one good time,
Listen.
and then I'm gonna be.
Remember that episode of Fresh Prince when they had Bell Biv DeVoe and he was like, "What you doing?" Will, he's like, "I was trying to get to my room." He's like, "What you doing?" He's like, "I was trying to get the deal."
Yes. Yeah, I love that.
That was
I
that
love
moment
that
for him.
tweet.
Coach
Yes,
is like,
that
"What
was
you
the same
doing?"
thing. That's a perfect
Oh, that's
analogy
great.
for sure.
That's great.
Oh my God. But yes, so we also had a very a very truthful tweet that came out too from Michael Harriet that, you know, something to think about. We heard what Jackie was talking about as far as the levels of the performance and, you know, the tying together from Compton and LA and all that kind of stuff. And my man Michael Harriet, just, you know, we were just talking about it a few weeks ago with Brian Flores, you know, suing the league and the whole situation. And it was a conversation for a few weeks and then it died down again. My man Michael said, "No, I ain't gonna let y'all forget." And he put up this tweet yesterday after the halftime show saying there were more black people dancing on stage in the Super Bowl halftime show than the combined number of black head coaches, GMs, and team presidents in NFL history. Let that one sink in. Not that I was counting. I didn't even watch. I'm just guessing there were more than 24 black people dancing. And your guesstimate was right. I think Kendrick Lamar had 24 in his performance alone.
Easy.
You know what I mean? But yeah, this is something that I feel like, you know, fell on deaf ears, unfortunately, on social media, but it was definitely a very well put together and very timely tweet, especially with everything that transpired right as, you know, the whole coaching season started and playoffs started. I think it was, you know, very timely and it's very sad at that. Jackie, you want to start off with your thoughts on that?
I was very proud of this tweet because I think it brought back to light what needed to be back to light. And then also when we're seeing all these white politicians that are flat out infuriated by the number of black people on the field, as if they don't know that first of all, black people dominate this game, number one, but we're not represented in the offices ever, like you said. And so I feel like representation matters. I've said it time and time again that I think that since the league is 70% black, at bare minimum, I should see at least 50% black head coaches, GMs, president of football operations and things of that nature, because representation matters. And we know representation matters because these white politicians were upset by the black representation on the field. So it's just, I think the NFL is a representation of what we're dealing with outside of sports. I think it's a very poignant representation of our political climate in this world. And then that's just what we see. And I think that it's always going to be that one person that brings up, hey, well, this is what we're dealing with. This is our uphill battle. I just think it needs to be more. And I think that we have the power. You know, I've been saying this, we have the power to change this because we do dominate the league. And until we learn to use our voices properly, we're just going to be talking about this over and over and over again. But that's my 2 cents.
Amen.
Yeah. Agreed. And yeah, like I said, I'm glad that, you know, you put that one in there too, Jackie, because yeah, like I said, I'm sure that's one that's going to, you know, the memes and everything going to take over, but it was good to, you know, put that into perspective for sure. Cause it's true. It's very true. Cause then I'm sure people are trying to figure out like, well, how many is that? And I love how he put it in the tweet. Like, I didn't even watch the show, but I guarantee there's more 24 black people out there. And he was definitely in fact right. So we go from the halftime celebration to some records, some uglier than others, but still records nonetheless, that was going on in this game. And Matthew Stafford definitely had one of his own. Now, look, I'm going to let you guys get all this hate out of your heart right now from Matthew Stafford. I'm not the biggest Matthew Stafford fan, but I can't stand when, you know, people like to kick people when, you know, this man just won, but you're going to try to bring up his past. Let him live. Let him win. That being said, this is a record that Matthew Stafford has, and it is that Matthew Stafford is a Super Bowl champion. Pause, right? Good job. But he has the most losses, 95, by a starting quarterback before winning their first ring. I'm like, yo, man, that is the most backhanded record I have ever heard. Now, Stat Muse, that's their job, right? But golly, that is the most backhanded record I've ever seen. And then it got worse because, you know, Twitter is just savage, taking a little shot at Detroit by putting up a new banner going up in Detroit. Because this is all they got, man. This is all they got. So, you know, Matthew Stafford getting records. And look, there would be no stat without the Detroit Lions. So, you know what? There you go. Enjoy that one. Detroit Lions. Oh, my God. Y'all so disrespectful.
That was
disrespectful.
Oh, that's crazy.
The
Oh my God.
disrespect. But that's not it. That's it for the disrespectful award. We do have another award that award record that was set, and I'm sure nobody's surprised by this one. I was waiting to hear what exactly the details would have been. But Cooper Kupp's been a beast this year, right? No question about it. Cooper Kupp has been balling all season long, playoffs long. Even in this one, you could tell in the beginning of that second half when Odell unfortunately went down with the injury, it was looking like, okay, how the hell is Matthew Stafford going to figure out to get the ball to him? Because now all they have to do is double team him, and he still figured it out. And that was a big part of them coming back into the game. But we have this record that came up for Cooper Kupp, and he's got himself next to some crazy names, saying Cooper Kupp now has 21 receiving touchdowns in the 2021 regular season and playoffs combined. He joins Jerry Rice, 1987-1989, and Randy Moss in 2007 as the only players to have more than 20 receiving touchdowns in a season, including the playoffs. When I saw this, all I thought to myself was, why the hell did I not draft Cooper Kupp in my fantasy league? I was so upset that I did not draft Cooper Kupp in my fantasy league. I missed out on all of this. But that's incredible, man. That is incredible. And it, like I said, with the season he had, I don't think anybody's surprised. I think it's just when you finally see the end number, you knew he had a lot of touchdowns going into the playoffs, and then how he's turned it up another level when the playoffs started, which is not something that you know, it's common, especially when you're the number one. This is his first time being the number one. Last time they were there, he was like the number 3. He was a slot guy. Now he's the number 1, and he still is playing at a high level. Like, you got to give respect to that. So shout out to Cooper Kupp on that. I ain't going to lie. There was sometimes at certain angles, I thought that he was Jake Paul. So I need you to get a different haircut, Cooper Kupp, because it was throwing me off. I was like, why is Jake Paul down there celebrating with the Rams? Oh, that's Cooper Kupp. My fault. My bad, Cooper. My bad. But last but not least, we got to talk about Aaron Donald, because there's the whole rumor going on right now that allegedly he may be retiring. Now, we know that he is 30, 31. He just turned 30, I think. He's still very young, but we know that the position he plays and at the level that he's played his entire career takes a lot out of you. You know what I mean? And especially getting to this point, all the years when the team was supposed to be good, but they didn't quite make it. The one Super Bowl loss, and now here you go, have this next opportunity. The rumor started that there's a possibility that he would be retiring after this Super Bowl win. We heard the murmurs a little bit pregame when this interview happened in the pregame show.
So how do you think number 99 thinks about his legacy at this point in his career?
Well, he's big on legacy, and he doesn't want to be known as a defender that accomplished so many individual things but never won a Super Bowl. But he also told me this: if he wins a Super Bowl, there's a strong possibility that he could walk away from the game and retire.
You may be trending on that.
Yeah, because we're just here waiting. I'm just waiting for the game to start, and I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry, what now? Huh? Wait, what? How do we get here? And so, yeah, and then fast forward to them winning the game. He was really emotional, post game, confetti falling. He was just talking about how emotional, how important this run has been for him, Sean McVay and everything, all the guys that they came together that ultimately led to this point. Now, how big it was for him to get to this point in his career with the Rams. And this is what he had to say in that interview.
You talked about the confetti, the feeling. I know you're going to get a chance to hug that Lombardi trophy that you've wanted to hug for so long. How does this measure up to what you thought it might be like, Aaron?
It's the best feeling in the world, man. God is great. God is great. I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say. This is a blessing. This is a blessing.
I don't know about y'all, but that felt like just like all of the, the work and just all the, the attempts and everything that you're putting in, being as great as he's been his entire career. And you finally got that chip. Like, you feel like that was all the emotions coming out. She then also went to ask him, about the rumors about him possibly retiring. But Sean McVay, I don't know if you heard the question, but he came in just in time and they embraced the hug and they had a moment. And then we never got the answer. But then post game, it then did get brought back up about him talking about it. And he actually spoke on it a little bit. He didn't really give us the answers we're looking for, which I wouldn't expect him to. But here's Aaron Donald himself talking about it.
One thing I told him when he got here and had the opportunity to start playing with him and getting to know him,
I told him as long as he's here, I want to continue to, be a part of this organization and help build on the legacy. We built a legacy, and legacies is built not from individual stats, but team success. The ultimate goal is always to be a world champion. I've been saying that for the past few years. So, to finally get the opportunity to feel this, to be living in it right now and at this time, this moment, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to put it in words right now.
Tiptoeing around a little bit. Now, I'm curious to hear what you have to say, what you guys are all thinking about. But I want to start with my man, May. I want to hear your thoughts on it because, like we were talking about, this dude is arguably one of the greatest to play at that position. I can only imagine all these years having the stats, the awards, being the top of the list at his position for so long, and then coming short, a few times in playoffs, and then that one Super Bowl, and then finally winning it. Could be a lot of emotions. It's like, do I have the drive to continue it? You know what I mean? What's your thoughts about this? If he does decide to retire, should he retire? What's your thoughts about this entire thing, this whole cloud that's going on right now around him retiring?
Well, I mean, there's layers to it. So him retiring, it could be based off of personal reasons. We don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a personal decision from a player's perspective. It could be many layers that contributes to that decision making, but I think he has more in his tank. But when we're talking about a defensive tackle, we talking about being in the trenches. One thing we have to understand is the process that goes into that. People, they watch Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night, but you got to look at the process and all the heavy weights you have to lift, the training, the film studying, and also being a dad on top of that. So there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But in my opinion, in my theory, I believe he has more. But again, like I said, him being a 3-time MVP, defensive player, that's well said. At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what do you want? And only he knows what he wants. So, but he finished it off in a great way. Super Bowl in LA. And that's the only team he actually been with. They actually drafted him, and he's been consistent. Being consistent in the trenches, for over these years, over and over again, that's self-explanatory. It says a lot about him and the player he is. Not only just a player, but a leader. Him being gone, his presence, his absence will definitely have an effect on the team, I believe, because it's not just his playing ability, it's also his presence. And players thrive on that energy. Just having a player like that, just wanting to make plays, and especially just being a defensive lineman, bringing pressure, that helps the linebacker and the back end as well. When we talking about the back end, I'm talking about the safeties, the corners, and the nickels. So it helps everybody else. It actually helps the defensive coordinator as well. When you have a person like Aaron Donald on your team, so that way you could draw stunts and you could draw one-on-one matchups now, man-to-man. So it just makes the game a little bit more easier for the defensive coordinator. But him being gone, man, that's going to be a big miss, and that's going to be a hard shoe to fill. But, I mean, him saying that he want to build a legacy, if the head coach, is still there, and him saying if they win, there's a possibility that he may retire. Again, there's adrenaline, there's a lot of emotions, but when things are settled, he'll have a time to think it through. But I'm sure he thought everything through before the game even happened.
Right.
So this is someone, like I said, I commend him on everything that he did and that he's going to continue doing even post-football. So he's someone that's going to continue to serve and continue to do good for the world, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Now, as a fan perspective, I'm looking at you, Tracy. Like, do you think, and Amelia said perfectly, like I think all of us can agree that he definitely has more in the tank. Like he'd be definitely doing a Calvin Johnson just with the Super Bowl, but he'd be going out on top, basically. You know what I mean? So to that point, and he's tiptoeing around it. But do you think it would be like Emmanuel was saying? Do you think it would be the best for him to just call it right now because it's the perfect storybook ending? Be able to focus on family. I'm sure help out the Rams behind the scenes as long as Sean McVay is there. Like, what's your thoughts on this rumor? You think he should do it?
Yeah, I was surprised as everybody. I was in the kitchen grabbing some wings, and I heard it, and I was like, Aaron Donald possibly retiring. Where did that come from? I can't speak to the mental of what he's going through. Like that conditioning, like Emmanuel spoke of, the things that we don't see, that process, is he on top? Yes, he's arguably one of the greatest trenches players that we've seen. I do think he has more in the tank. I think Tom Brady has more in the tank, but at a certain point, other things become more important. His kids are probably growing up, spending time with his family, his wife, and things of that nature. As you get older, different things become more important, or stand out more to you than the other, or what once previous did. So I don't know. I think whatever he feels is the best decision for him, mentally, physically, spiritually, is what he should do. I'm a Giants fan, so I want to see him gone. Anyway, he's not on my
You do.
so, it's like, but yeah, I think
Nah.
it's not going to affect the Rams if he leaves. It will affect the entire league. He's such a
Yeah.
pivotal player, and he makes other players step up to the competition. Linemen are excited, maybe not excited to play him, but they want to put their best foot forward to play him, and other players want to put their best foot forward. So it will affect the whole league. I feel like for sure. That's higher.
Jackie Ray, I got to hear your opinion on this. I know you're a fan. Do you think? 'Cause I know, like I said, I know you're going to agree that he definitely has more left. But with everything he had to say, like he said, the fact that he's trying to build this legacy there, and I think he did do that. What's your thoughts on him retiring? You think it needs to happen? You think what's your thoughts? Just speak on it.
I mean, I agree with everything that Emmanuel and Tracy said, but thinking about it from a person who loves him, just period.
Right.
I think he'd be very smart to retire, because you and I, Chris, on this show, we've covered several times the aftermath of life beyond the league, what your body has to go through, what your mind has to go through. And then all of a sudden it becomes a situation where what your body and your mind is going through isn't just affecting you, it's affecting your daughter now, it's affecting your loved ones and things of that nature. So it's been 8 years, which that's 8, but people always forget when you're talking about, 8 years in the NFL, you didn't just start playing 8 years ago. A lot of these guys start playing like 5, 6, 7 years old. And so you've been putting your body through this for an enormous amount of time. So as a person who watches the game and knows the detriment that it puts on your body, I say go out on top. You got what you wanted. I know that's a hard ask, because I know some of these guys practically want to be dragged off the field, and I get that because you have a passion about this game. But I say get your ring. You're on top now. And like Tracy said, the entire league is going to miss you. It's not like your legacy is going anywhere. And I think he has the leadership skills that if he wants to be impactful, he can do it from the sideline. But I think it's the time now where you do think about your future with you, your body, your family, and your children.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with everything that all three of you guys had to say about that for sure. But that's it for me on Post Up. All right, we had some fun. We had some laughs. We had some, great conversations. That's it for Post Up. So, Jackie Ray, can you tell us on this Monday, Valentine's Day, what we not gonna do?
Yes, it's been so long that since I've got a chance to talk a little bit of trash and talk about what we not gonna do. But what we're not going to do is skip over Odell, you guys, because I know y'all know how much I love Odell. It was a wrap for me. I'm still a Saints fan, but the second they got Odell, if you follow me on social media, I was like, let me go out and get a Rams jersey. I got Aaron Donald's jersey, but I'm still going to get Odell's at some point because I just love him that much. But I feel like the impact that we saw from Odell was immediate. First of all, we knew that a lot of people had a lot of worries about Odell coming to LA because the offense really does run through Cooper Kupp. But I do think Odell being there actually helped Cooper because it gave you some options. It freed up Cooper in a lot of ways. And Odell getting that first touchdown of the game was amazing. Tracy, I know you're a Giants fan. I'm sorry for that, but y'all messed up and you let Odell go. It was a mistake, and you know it. And thank you for going back to him on that, Leo, because I needed to see him nod and acknowledge that, because that was a mistake. And the mistake happened partly because of what the media does and what the narrative the media says. The man is passionate. I don't care. He can have a fight with every kicking net in the league if he wants to. but that's just his passion. It doesn't change what he does on the field. The way Cleveland treated him was disrespectful. It was a waste of his talent. I know he had injuries, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but it was still disrespectful. And for him to say, the way that things ended with Cleveland was a problem for him, because he's the type of guy that likes closure. He didn't want to go there and not succeed. He wanted to go there and be instrumental in helping them elevate a little bit more. I thought, if y'all run the tapes, I'm just going to tell on myself, go back, I said they was going to be kings of the North when Odell went over there. I was wrong, but Cleveland was wrong in the way they treated him as well. And that's a problem, because Odell's impact was immediately felt. When Odell got that non-contact injury and immediately grabbed his knee, all of a sudden the offense suffered. Now, they got back on track. Obviously, you're never going to be off track too much with Cooper Kupp there, but you had no run game. Odell wasn't there to spread out the offense. It was a problem. And the second he went off the field, his presence was missed. So I don't want us to skip over the fact that Odell impacts the league no matter where he goes. So I want to give him his moment and share in his ring that he has deserved as well. So, Leo, if you can throw up the moment where you see all this emotion in him. Now, I will say, as much as I love Odell, and I'm so happy that he got a ring, since we're on this retirement talk, I wanted to kind of touch base on that, because Odell has had an injury ever since he's come into the league. And obviously this injury, although we don't know exactly what it is yet, it might have come up while we were on the show, but I think this is the same injury that caused him to be out for, I think it was like 6 games with Cleveland. It's the same knee. He's had injury after injury after injury. So I'm just going to go down the line. I want to start with you, Emmanuel. We're having these talks of retirement, and the impact that this game that's been on Odell's body specifically is relevant. We see it a lot. It's in conversations a lot. So now that he's had his moment where we see the importance of him as a player, should he be considering retirement, especially since he's injury prone, or should he just say, you know what, this is another injury I got to overcome and I got to get back in it?
It'll be nice to see him back on the field, but that could be detrimental for the body. Just experiencing injuries on top of injuries. It's not just the injury aspect; it's going through the therapy, process as well. That's just as hard being on the field. That's what people have to understand, and not only from a physical standpoint, but also mentally. There has to be this trigger in your mind where you have to tell yourself that you're going to be better than ever before, right? But sometimes the body doesn't come back to its natural state, especially having, knee tears, ACL tears. So that's tough. I can't imagine what he's going through, what he's processing. I know that was a lot of emotion that he was feeling himself just from, not finishing the game alone, and in the back of your mind, you just now experience this knee injury. So that could bring up a lot of thoughts, right? There's a lot of layers that goes into it, but it'll be good to see him back. He has a lot of game in him. Like, he's arguably one of the best route runners that, just from watching the film, he's a dog. He just has that it factor, and that's something you just can't coach. He loves the game. He's a competitor. It'll be good to see him back, of course. I don't think this injury is going to stop him from moving on forward, but I just hope he's okay. I just hope it's not anything that, that's detrimental for him to slow down his game. But again, just coming from an injury and then getting a Super Bowl and then now having an injury again, that's a lot on the body, and that's a lot on the mental side too. So I believe he's gonna come back. Just seeing him and the person that he is, he's a competitor, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So, and I think he's not just out here to prove people wrong, but just prove himself right.
Facts. I like that. Tracy, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be hard to see. I can't visually see Odell Beckham saying, I'm ready to retire now. I think he just overcame this obstacle of so many people saying that he was washed, he wasn't good, and then he gave you a taste of, old Odell. And I don't think he's satisfied with that feel. Like, yes, he got the ring, but I think he wants to be regarded as that guy again. Now, I don't know if he'll come back to the Rams, because I know they're dealing with cap issues and things like that or whatever. I would love it if he came back home. I think now would be a good time for us to go get him. But I wish him well.
You're here for Tracy Dukes putting in his his bid for Odell back to the Giants. We heard it here. Clip this, please.
Yeah. I mean, mhm.
I don't know what to do with that. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I hear the conversation. I hear the argument for that because of, like Emmanuel put perfectly, it's not just him, dealing with the fact that he's injured just physically, but like it's going to be emotional. It's going to be another emotional journey for him as far as, the therapies and the rehab, everything that's going to come with it. But hopefully just the fact of you winning a Super Bowl, we can all argue that he was off to have a great game in this game alone. So hopefully that is something that will help him, stay, mentally focused and ready, which I think he, like both Emmanuel and Tracy both said, which I think it will help him push to go for another season, go to play again. Honestly, retirement, I don't think is in his thoughts right now. I think he still has a lot left to prove. And he's not just done with one Super Bowl. I think all this really does is just, hurt his wallet a little bit. I mean, he might not be getting paid as much as he might be expected. But if that means maybe he runs it back with like the Rams or somebody else, I'm sure he's not bothered by that. That was the same conversation we had going into this trade, moving over to the Rams. He wasn't going to be making as much money, this, that, and the third, but he had all these bonuses and stuff that he met up with and still ended up getting paid. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he's not worried about that. To Emmanuel's point, I think he's more concerned about letting people know that I know I'm good. Y'all need to understand how good I really am. So, yeah, I think outside of it affecting his wallet a little bit, I think he's going to come back with the same fire. I just don't know where next year, but I think he'll definitely come back.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys as well. I just want him to be successful, not only on the field, but mentally as well. I don't want another injury to like mentally break him. So I'm going to have to vote against New York because I want him to mentally be okay.
Right.
And
valid points were made again. Valid points were made again.
But that's all our time for the show. But before we get out of here, Emmanuel, I just wanted to introduce yourself to the people, tell them what you got going on, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
No, most definitely. Instagram, Emmanuel Lamur. Twitter, Eman. That's EMANLAMUR. That's my Twitter. I just have Instagram and Twitter. That's it. And also Facebook, Emmanuel Lamur. But as of right now, I'm helping community with my real estate portfolio that I got going on, just helping provide a living space for people and continuing to serve the community. Real Estates, that's the name of the company. So y'all check me out.
Yes, absolutely. Tracy?
I'm Tracy Dukes, Tracy Dukes 1 on Instagram. That's where I'm most active at. EY, by the way, I'm sure you can see it at the bottom, but just got to represent the E. But yeah, I just recently moved. I'm in the Southeast acting world. I have a film about to hit festivals soon and a couple of other projects on streaming services and things of that nature. But this was really exciting. And I was very happy to share this space with you all. So thank you.
Definitely. And of course, CK2K.
You know where to find me at. And like Tracy, I'm with you on that. I understand that E struggle because a lot of people want to forget the E at the end of the Clark. So I'm with you on that. The E struggle represent the E. Chris Clark. You find me everywhere at CK2K. You know what it is. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Y'all know.
Yep. I think I'm part of that E struggle because everybody wants to do Jackie Ray, RAY. And it's
Why?
E,
Look
y'all.
at that. E struggle.
The E support group right here.
Squad is in the building. This was a pleasure having you guys on the show. We definitely have to do it again. It was a great Super Bowl, great panel. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell because we are coming back with some more Black History Month stuff. We got more stuff coming. We got the homecoming week coming up at the end of the month. So we got a lot of stuff coming for you. So make sure you stay involved and we will see you next time, you guys. Bye.